Please welcome Riam Power from the University of Maryland.
Thank you very much for having me, and thanks for the introduction. Thank you for the opportunity to be here to share this dream with me. This has been a dream of mine for most of my adult life. So Riam Power is a renewable energy, is a social enterprise focused on providing access to affordable, clean, and reliable energy in developing countries. So I'm going to start with by sharing a couple of stories with you, and I'll encourage you to kind of find a theme along the lines of the stories. So first, can you imagine being in your doctor's office, getting a minor surgery, and then the light goes off, right? Or like me, who likes to study at night and work at night, growing up in Nigeria, where I've had to study with candlelight or kerosene lamps before we could even afford generators or rechargeable lamps. And even if you have rechargeable lamps, you couldn't get power to charge them. Or this is a photo of a barbershop. This photo reminds me of a story. My niece once asked me, "Uncle, why do you always like going bald? You should get a mohawk." And I'm like, I once had a mohawk even before mohawks were cool. She's like, "How?" It's like, when I was growing up in Nigeria, I would go to a barbershop, and right in the middle of your haircut, true story, the power goes off. So half of my hair is gone, and the half is still there. And sometimes we have to walk home like that because the power doesn't come on. So electricity, right? Lack of electricity. That's the issue here. So there are 1.3 billion people in the world without access to power or electricity. 600 million of those are in sub-Saharan Africa, and 1 in 6 of those, that's 100 million in Nigeria, including small business owners. So how bad is the problem? Nigeria essentially runs on generators. A recent report with the Federal Minister of Power in Nigeria and the German Economic Development Corporation found out that 86% of Nigerian firms run self-generators, diesel generators to power their businesses. And 48% of the total power in the entire country is self-generation from generators. Even the federal government of Nigeria spent an equivalent of 27 million this year will be spending on generators. Manufacturers, $11 billion. Telecom companies, all the cell towers, I call my mom, I get drop calls like every single time. They're powered by generators. So what's the solution? At Riam Power, we believe the solution is renewable energy. Right? We're providing access to affordable, low-cost renewable energy to these small business owners. Right now, we're focusing on solar solutions for small businesses in Nigeria, and we hope to be able to grow to other parts of Africa. Ghana, Kenya, and Ethiopia are those on our lists, and also to be able to expand and build capacities in other forms of renewable energy: wind, microhydro, biomass, and geothermal. So again, we're focusing on customers in energy-critical and energy-intensive industries that actually use a lot of, or run a lot of the operations using generators. So these are healthcare, agriculture, manufacturing, education, information technology, and hospitality. So it's important to note here that these companies already spend billions of dollars running generators. So the benefit to them is we're going to be able to reduce their costs. So they have higher margin. Higher margin leads to growth. And also renewable energy systems are more reliable and resilient than the current sources, diesel generators or petrol generators that they currently use. So how big is the market? What's the market potential here? A recent McKinsey report estimated that for sub-Saharan Africa to reach 70% electrification rate, all the countries will need to spend $490 billion. And Nigeria being the most populous of those countries, we need to spend $50 billion. And we're targeting about 40% of that market, worth about $20 billion. One of our go-to-market strategy is to partner with small business groups. We actually have our small business group that we're working with in Southwest Nigeria in Lagos that has about 1,000 members. We're talking to another group that's actually national that has about 5,000 more small business members that are really interested in actually partnering with us to get their members access to renewable energy solutions. So in Nigeria, for example, how many businesses are we talking about? The National Bureau of Statistics in Nigeria estimates there are 37 million businesses, small, micro, and medium businesses in the country, and we need to serve about 15 million of those to make 40%. So how do we make money? So our value proposition to this business is that they're already spending, the life cycle cost of generators to solar is about twice the amount. So they're already spending a whole lot. According to a World Bank survey, they're spending 40 to 60% of their operation cost just goes only to the fueling, operation, and maintenance of generators. 60% of their operation cost. So the value prop is that we're going to offer a low-cost alternative to that. We're going to partner with small businesses, again, like I said before. And then what we do, Repower, we install the systems, and the customers will pay 3 options: a fee per kilowatt hour is one way, and then also another fee per a fixed prepay monthly payment. Also, for businesses that have access to financing from local banks, could actually pay for this and finance it through the local banks. So what's the risk here? So I've got a question. We're partnering with a metering company that we're talking to right now that provides a smart meter, which allows that if customers don't prepay the agreed upon amount, the system locks so they don't have power. Essentially, right now, what they do is if they don't put diesel into the generators, they don't have power. So, and I believe businesses have incentives to want to continue operating, so they're going to want to pay. So the competitive landscape in Nigeria, the renewable energy industry and solar PV in particular is still relatively young and highly fragmented. There are numerous installers in the market, but from our research, we're able to identify a few of these that are serving our target market. And we also, one thing that our research kind of showed us that was very insightful for us was that quality. There are two reasons why the adoption of solar is really low in Nigeria right now: the quality of the products and the components used, and the reliability of the system installed. So we've ranked, and we believe that this too will be one of our competitive advantages. So here's an example of systems being installed right now. This is unsafe and could get blown away by the wind. Here's another in a business building. This is really very dangerous. Here's another. And this is an example of a project that I've done here in the US while working for SolarCity. This is something that we would do. This is how you install the ground mount. So advantage, apart from the competitive advantage that we have in terms of quality and reliability, my experience, I worked 4 years for SolarCity, the #1 US installer. I was born and raised in Nigeria, so I have a lot of connections there. I have a lot of people in government who've been involved in the transition and privatization of the current power infrastructure. So there's a network that I can tap into there in terms of policies. Also, this has been a vision and passion of mine, and even one of the reasons why I came to the US to study was identifying the issue of power problems in Nigeria and other African countries, and hoping that I came here to study, and then I was planning to go back and actually be able to do this and fix the problems. So our milestones to date. We have a registered limited liability in the country. Again, we have a small business group in Lagos that we're working with. We're in talks with another national group. We've secured a partnership with the US supplier, which is going to give us, top quality systems that can actually be reliable and we will serve a long period of time. Also, we're working with a training institution for labor training and technical know-how. This is our team. Like I said, I've got 4 years working for SolarCity. Jeff has 4 years as an aeronautic engineer, works for the US Air Force. He also just installed solar in his home, has been working with a nonprofit installing solar in the DC area. And we have a contact person on ground who has also been an engineering professor and has done some business consulting. So right now we're trying to pilot a model and a business model. So we're partnering with a small business group to select 10 businesses in Lagos to be able to pilot this with. So we're asking for $50,000 to be able to do this. This will go into the equipment purchase, panels, inverters, batteries, and also the labor and all the other costs associated. The most important part of this is when this succeeds, it's going to help us scale. We're in conversations right now with local banks in Nigeria, and they're looking for a proof of concept. And when this succeeds, we'll be able to scale faster. Here's the use of funds. And the big part for me is Reempower is not just any other solar company. It's a solar company with 3 pillars: people, planet, and profit. The people part of this is really important to me. And this is a recent banner from a protest in Nigeria recently after the elections. And this is what drives me. The goal of Reempower is to be able to provide electricity to revive industries that provide jobs and serves as the catalyst for socioeconomic development. Thank you very much.